Hey y'all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm with Daniel.
Hola.
And that's very quiet, hola. And Jonathan.
Hey, y'all.
What have you guys been watching? Let's start off with that. Have you guys been watching anything during this whole quarantine thing? Continued quarantine thing?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube, just watching more streamers play, like Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman. That's pretty much what I've been doing, just watching a lot of streamers play video games, pretty much.
So you're watching them on YouTube. Are you starting to like that as a streaming platform?
YouTube, no. I actually still haven't figured out how to watch streamers play on YouTube. Usually I just watch their clips or whatever on YouTube. Yeah. But right now, Twitch.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know much about what's going on with Dr. Disrespect and all that?
Right now, no. Well, he finally came out with like a little video, and he finally came out with like a tweet saying he still doesn't know what's going on with Twitch and why he got banned. Yeah. But he did announce that he's going to be pretty much streaming on YouTube for now. And he might be suing Twitch because they still haven't gave him the reason why he got banned. Yeah. And, but I mean, he could be lying too. I just don't think so. I think Twitch actually just banned him and not tell him.
That's so. If they did that, that's so messed up because there is the whole contract dispute you were telling me about with the Mixer and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily a big fan of his, but I do see that he's actually really good for the industry, for the streaming industry, because he's such a good personality. He's super identifiable, and I want him to do good, of course. So
yeah.
We'll see how that goes. That's pretty interesting. It's real shady. It's odd that Twitch hasn't even addressed it, which is almost giving him more credence. Because then if there was something simply, it was this, then they would come out and say like, yeah, it's because of this that he was banned. But even they're not addressing the situation. He's big enough to need addressing.
Usually they let that person know, hey, you're getting banned for this reason. And all of a sudden they just sent him a message that he broke some rules and that he's permanently banned. It's like, oh, okay, so what did he do? Because watching all his last streams, there was nothing he did. Nothing he said, anything like that. So I don't know if they're attacking him for things he did before. But then he already got banned for those things. Yeah. So how could you ban him again?
Re-ban him. Yeah.
Yeah. But doesn't permanently makes no sense. But
something shady going on.
Yeah.
That's weird. Jonathan, what have you been watching, man?
Been rewatching a lot of the same stuff on Netflix, but did recently, because now we got HBO Max and going back through all the HBO stuff. Started watching Veep again because I only seen like the first 2 seasons of it, I think. So I think that's the main thing we've been watching from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a really good one. Yeah, and I think it just gets better and better as it goes, especially like when she's running for president. It's really good. It's good. Okay, so I want to address, last week we had an issue with the episode. Totally my fault as the editor. We were missing the first 12 minutes of the podcast. So it was just dead air. It definitely affects our listens. I could tell there was like, oh, okay, people noticed it after the intro. It's just quiet for 12 minutes. Luckily, KT from from For Your Reference Podcast caught it and let me know so I could fix it. But if you guys want to catch that last episode, I went ahead and fixed the audio. It's back up. It was such a mess of an episode because not only that, but I ended up having Squeaks like muted on the stream for about half of the episode. So it was just me talking, and then you saw some like random bald guy with his lips moving and no voice coming out over on the other side. I was just like, okay, well, this is great. So let me try to fix this audio later on. Yeah. Another thing, our website totally revamped. We've heard your guys' not complaints, but comments that it was a little bit too plain, a little too just white screen. I liked the simplistic look. I get it that you guys aren't in it for that. So now it's fancy with a ton of colors, and we got the main article, the first or the last article we posted is like real big on the top. It looks clean. So you guys check out the website. It's all revamped now. Discord will soon be revamped. I'm still in the process of doing that, but I'm assuming by the time this episode comes out, I'll have a link in the description showing where to go to if you guys want to go on Discord and chat with us or whatever and play games with us. We're always playing games. So there's that. Now, let's go ahead and get into the Audible ad. This is how we're supporting the show, guys. This is how we're going to buy brand new mics for everybody while we're staying at home, making sure that this is the best quality sound you could possibly get. Before we get started, have you guys tried Audible, Jonathan and Daniel?
I don't think I have.
You haven't yet? Right. Okay. Audible's a great program where you're able to listen to Audible books at like the highest echelon of quality. They have a lot of original content and of course content for this new releases right away that you can get those. For $14.99 a month, you guys get one Audible book and then 2 Audible originals. And every month you can renew those. You can save a credit for later on if you like, oh, I'm still reading or listening to one book. You can have 2 credits the next month, stuff like that. If you sign up, the link is in the description, or you can just go to audibletrial.com/geekfreaks. You can sign up. You help support the podcast. And right now we're listening to Shadows Rising by, is it Madeline? I might have messed that up. Madeline Rowe. Fantastic book so far. I'm trying to listen to it slow because we're putting out like chapter by chapter comments. And so we're trying to go slow, not just blow up our feed with that. Squeaks is way ahead of me. He's just been binging it like crazy. Very good so far. Is there any books that you guys would be interested in like listening to in audiobook form?
Yeah.
For me, one that you've gone through the entire series is Game of Thrones. I have such a hard time reading. I'm a bad reader as it is, but reading in that like old English kind of, I don't know, the way it's worded is like hard to grasp. But when you watch it on TV, it's super easy. It makes sense, and it's you're able to immerse in it better. So I think an audiobook of Game of Thrones would be a lot easier to get through.
Very good idea.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that because I actually have the books. I just don't want to read it.
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
Game of Thrones would be a good one, but I really want to read World of Warcraft, the Vol'jin, Shadows of the Horde. That's one I want to actually get into because I like Vol'jin. It's all about Vol'jin.
He's gonna be big in the expansion, man.
Oh
yeah, because
awesome.
it's all Shadowlands, and he's like a Loa now, so he's actually above and beyond. Yeah, he's gonna be pretty awesome. They're both really good. There's some audible books that we're looking forward to listening to in the future. The Hobbit is being redone, but with the guy Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum. He's gonna be doing the voices for it. That's fantastic, and doing the narrating, of course. Ready Player 2 coming in October. The sequel to Ready Player 1. There's a brand new book coming out, and right away we're gonna have the audio version. And we're gonna listen to that in November, October, whenever it comes out. So join us, guys, at audibletrial.com/geekfreaks and help support the pod. Get us some new mics. Appreciate it. All right, on to the news. DC announces a new Watchman spinoff called Rorschach. This is a 12-issue run by DC's best, including Tom King and Jorge Fornes. This is under the DC Black label, which is where we're getting like the Joker movie and stuff like that. I find myself liking DC Black more than anything else. What do you guys think about DC Black?
Yeah, what else have we had in it though other than Joker? That was kind of the launch of it, right?
Strange Adventures. No, there's actually quite a bit under it. It's like Strange Adventures. It's all these like adult versions of. So even if you have a Superman title under DC Black, it's still going to be
a little edgier.
Yeah, actually, like I think All Stars is considered one where like Superman finds out he's going to die in a year, so he's trying to live that last life, like the bucket list, stuff like that. More adults level themes.
I think that's good. I think that's a great way for them to compete with Marvel because Marvel has done a good job at sticking to the family-friendly kind of younger crowd, and that's cool. But the big comic book fans, I mean, that we know of are our generation, so we kind of like to see that a little bit darker spin on things. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, a good change up. So this is going to be taking place 35 years after his death. He died by Manhattan blowing him up when he's going to go tell the truth. So here's a little bit of a quote from it. It says, "It's been 35 years since Osmodeus was exposed for dropping a giant telepathic squid on New York City, killing thousands and ending the public's trust in heroes once and for all. The Minutemen are gone, only their memory lives on, especially the infamy of Rorschach, who has become a cultural icon since Dr. Manhattan turned him into dust. Rorschach may have spoken the truth, but he wasn't a hero." So that's one of the big things. I'm excited for this new noir thing, and I think it's probably going to be like a new Rorschach trying to take his place. Because Rorschach was not a nice guy. He actually was kind of an asshole. And the whole time he's just like, the truth needs to be said. We need to figure out why, the comedian was killed and stuff like that. But he was not a nice guy. Like, everything was narrated through his journal. And it was a bunch of, hate speech and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that's taken. And in the HBO show, we saw that they created a new KKK because of Rorschach. Do you guys think there's a way to make a 35 year later version of him that's not as edgy?
It's hard because you especially to push it out like that 35 years later and then try to drastically change his character. Now, that's hard without much context. If you can write in flashbacks and give perspective to why he was who he was and play into his backstory, which I'm sure is already well developed, but you can change him, but you have to do like that, rebuild his character a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible, but I think a lot of people would be really upset because you're changing the foundation of who the character is too.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to have to be somebody who takes his mantle. It's the only way you could do 35 years later, and then there could be a lot of flashbacks to other maybe journals that Rorschach that shows him being a regular detective. Because I would love to see that. I would love to see just noir detective stories from Rorschach's point of view. I think that'd be very interesting. And he's definitely a character that when I read Rorschach stuff, I know that he's not a good guy, but I'm still enjoying the story. You know, it's like a comic book. I mean, it's hard to even say from Joker's point of view because it's more real than that. The things he says. It's not like, I'm going to kill the Batman. It's like really bad stuff. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they do as a hero. Daniel, what do you think about this Rorschach comic book series?
The best way to do it would just start a new comic book and just start it at that point, right? I mean, that's what they're doing.
Right, but they're doing it like 35 years in the future. Do you think that they could redeem the character? Or should they try to just go ahead and tell the story of a guy who's hateful and stuff like that?
Tell about a guy that's hateful. I think that would be
just
more
embrace
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Will the new character have to be somebody pleasant, or is it still going to be the same kind of Batman kind of character or Punisher where he could have, taken on that hate speech and stuff and totally endorsed it and be like, you know what, yeah, I'm kind of pro KKK or whatever their new group is, but I'm also just out there to bring justice, whether it's I don't know how those.
All I know is I got a sound clip of you for saying I'm pro KKK, so that'll be interesting to use. Ringtone.
Blackmail all over the internet
now. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think they need to. I think they kind of need to embrace it. To be honest with you, I think they need to have that edgy guy because if you're a person who's going to identify with Rorschach, then you're going to be a kind of guy who's not great. So I think that's going to be and lean on the truth part because that was the big thing about Rorschach. He just wanted to get the truth out, whether it was good or bad or ruined us. It'll be interesting. So the comic book series is coming out starting October, $4.99 an issue. It's got Tom King involved. Follow Tom King on Twitter, guys. If you guys haven't yet, he's interesting to follow on Twitter. He does short responses, but he is active. So it's interesting. We have a new comic book coming from the brand new comic book writer Keanu Reeves. So Daniel's reaction already. Boom Studios revealed today. They are working with Keanu Reeves on a new comic book series that he'll be writing, and then he says possibly he'll be developing it for a new series. It's going to be a 12-issue run called Berserker, and will release October. Berserker follows a thousands-of-year-old warrior that is part human, part war god. He is constantly balancing his need to kill and his humanity. He will. One thing that I like is they mention how literally Keanu Reeves mentions that he'll be like calling back to his memories on a situation where like, oh yeah, when I fought the Babylons this time, I used a grappling hook or whatever, and he's using that memory as how he'll fight his villain now. So he'll be jumping around to history when he did these crazy things back in time, like, oh yeah, when I fought the Romans here, I did this one thing, and then he'll go into that and use that forward.
Wait, so he's telling like pretty much the story of his past, and then is that what you're pretty much telling us?
No, this hero is like 80,000 years old. Because he's part god, he's immortal. And so he's gained so much tactics from how old he is that while he's fighting, he's calling back to moments in history when he was fighting in other wars and being like, oh, that's right. This is similar to the time that I was with Sparta and, or whatever, and using that into his advantage in this one. So that'd be pretty interesting to see how that works out.
That sounds kind of like Avatar, where he's able to tap into his previous lives and use their experiences and his. Yeah,
like a fully fledged Aang. I would love to see an Aang as an adult that can do that has that ability to like quickly refer back. Because whenever he did in the show, it was kind of a revelation or a big moment for him. Yeah. By the way, which Avatar books do you have? Me and Squeaks were talking about that. We're trying to figure out which one to go with first.
I don't know. I have two of them. I don't remember. One's the Smoke and Fire or something like that.
Yeah.
I have to go with them. They're on the shelf. I only read half of one of them. I still haven't finished them, too.
They are re-releasing all of those in these big books. So if you guys want to get they're all outstanding. I've only read one, but if you hear always good things about it. So anyways, this is a quote that Reeves had told to USA Today. This character, who was born 80,000 years ago, half man, his father's a war of god, or a god of war, whatever. It's a little fantasy in reality. I had this image in my head of a guy fighting through the ages because of his father's compulsion to violence, but with pathos of a man trapped and trying to figure its way out. So I like the way he approaches this. Like, I had this image. It almost reminds me of like how Ron Howard directs movies. He finds a movie project he likes. He sees kind of this image of a guy, and then he builds the project around that. I'm excited to see this comic book come from a person who makes movies, and it'll be interesting to see how he does. You're pretty good. You guys think you can pick this up in October?
I'll wait for some reviews.
Yeah.
Well, I actually want to. It sounds interesting, but when I was researching it, I was kind of hoping it was gonna be like a John Wick comic book. That's what I was excited for.
Yeah.
But
just make John Wick.
I'm gonna probably get it just to support him, and hopefully he decides to make like a John Wick comic book later.
Oh yeah, dude,
that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. John Wick movies. The last one is funny because I'm watching it and it's almost like this might be too much action, but that's like the first time I've ever said that. Like, this is too much action.
Yeah.
And still enjoy it, especially.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Okay, I think the last of the comic book stuff here. The entire Walking Dead comic book series is being reprinted in color. Skybound announced during their Skybound Expo, which is this online thing they're doing right now, that starting in October, which is of course a big month for comic books apparently, the entire Walking Dead comic book series is going to begin to be reprinted in color and be called The Walking Dead Deluxe. This includes the 193 issues of Robert Kirkman's books that were originally printed in black and white. The coloring is being done by Dave McCaig. He did American Vampires and Northlanders and Batman Strikes. The first issue will be available on October 7th, and then it'll be coming out twice a month. 193 issues. Robert Kirkman is cashing out. This is so much money coming his way. It's just nuts. What do you think, John?
I think that's brilliant. I mean, the series, kind of took a downward turn, whatever, slowed down in interest and stuff. But now is the time to, rechannel it and cash out before it's not valuable anymore. But yeah. I mean, I think printing it in black and white was cool to start with. People kind of like that nostalgic vibe and all that stuff. But then now to re-release it in the Lexus edition, we've all done it, buying the comic, like you were saying, the Avatar books after they're released later and remastered with extra art and consolidated into a hardback and all that stuff. It's just, that's what the fans want. So that's awesome to do it because the fans want it and it makes them a little bit more money on a product that's already getting a little older.
Yeah. Daniel, would you ever be interested in reading all the Walking Deads?
No, it's way too much. I can't even read the books that I want to. But I mean, it is a good idea that they are reprinting it in color, but I mean, at where they're at right now, is there really any, I don't know. If I'm already reading it, if I already read it in black and white, I probably wouldn't pick it up just for color, the color version, unless it's super cheap for all those.
They're going to be, I think they're going to be $5 each. So no, they're not.
No, then for me, I wouldn't. Right now, I've read the whole entire series, I probably wouldn't even bother picking it up.
Yeah. They
Now, what if you watched the show and loved it and never read the comics because you were turned off by the black and white? Now it's going to be re-released in color, and you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, the show's done. They kind of want to get some more of that, but you know what? Now's the time. They're doing it in color and deluxe, a special edition thing. I better get it.
That's a good point.
And they're releasing 2 a month, so you can actually go along with it and follow the series just like you did watching it live on TV.
That's a very good point. Yeah, and the first few issues are really like shot for shot the same as the show, so it's a good way for a show watcher to get into it. We have a couple of the first pages on the website, so if you guys go to the website and check those out, they look awesome. The colored ones definitely look way better than the black and white. I'll admit that. I think there's going to be some nostalgia problems for those who have already watched or read the comic books, but objectively they look way better in color. They did a really good job with them. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to be picking a few of them up. I'm right now reading Negan Lives. He put out the first one 2 weeks ago. Very good comic book about Negan survives. He buries Lucy. And then a woman comes along and there's something shady going on. I'll just leave it at that in case you guys want to pick it up. It's really good. It sets up an interesting story, and it's kind of like a side quest, but that's what I wanted. I wanted a contained mission in that world with a character I'm well versed in, and Negan, of course, is one of the best. So it's a really enjoyable story so far. It's only been the first book, but I'm liking it a lot. So you guys check that out as well. Negan Lives. All right, we're moving on to some gaming news. We're gonna have, we're gonna have some movie stuff later on. Okay, so in gaming, Microsoft has officially ended production of the Xbox One X and S. This is in preparation for the next generation of consoles. They also mentioned to IGN that they're sending some guys over to work on Game Pass and Project xCloud. They have a lot of investment in xCloud. They're really waiting for this to get the Azure servers and all that. They might have started a little bit early because of the lower productivity during the pandemic. They're trying to make sure to hit the Christmas season, even though it'll be kind of different this year than ever before. People are still going to be wanting to buy those gifts and order them online, whatever they need to do. So I wanted to ask you guys, this is the end of an era. Xbox One, I think it lost the console race really versus the PS4. But I still really enjoyed the system. And I wanted to talk to you guys, what were some of your favorite Xbox One games? I'm going to start us off with what I think might have been the best one, and that's Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves has to be the very best Xbox One game in my opinion. I play it mostly on PC myself, but it was, it's originally an Xbox One game. And it's a good community builder, it has constantly great updates, very active. It's by Rare, which I've always enjoyed Rare games. So I'm going to go with Sea of Thieves. It's probably my favorite Xbox One games. Is there anything else that stands out to you, Daniel?
Let's Halo. Halo was a really good one.
Halo 5, I think, right?
Yeah, Halo.
Yeah.
And then I did like the shoot. Damn it. What's that name? I had it. Where's my paper?
Oh, he's searching for the paper.
Go to John real quick.
John, go ahead. Cover him.
So I honestly did not play a lot of Xbox games. I bought the Xbox for the Halo 5.
You have the Halo 5 edition Xbox too, right? It makes the cool sounds.
Yeah, special edition one.
Yeah.
And then Battlefront 2 I played for a few weeks, but I've just lost most interest in console games. And I don't know, back then I was probably getting into PC games too, more so. So that kind of pulls it apart. But I still use it as a DVD player and Netflix streamer.
It's a heck of a Netflix streamer.
Yeah. So, but going back to the xCloud, is that Microsoft's version of like Stadia?
It is, yeah, and I actually think it's going to do better. Though their investment into it, the time and effort has been outstanding, and I think it's something that's going to overshadow. We have an article coming up that we're going to be discussing where they're actually going to be giving it free for anybody who has Game Pass Ultimate. So it's awesome. It's just going to blend right into, like, I'm an Xbox man, so it's just going to roll right into your accounts and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
So will we need consoles anymore, like across the board, if all these console
that's the problem.
Making companies are
That's where Phil Spencer messed up. Yeah, we don't need an Xbox Series X technically because we can play on the PC. You can play on your phone. You can do anything you want with it. They're really pushing the fact that you could play all these Xbox games on your phone, and they kind of messed up on that one. I think they probably should have kept that closer to their sleeve. They even announced recently, we don't have an article about this, that the Xbox One or Xbox Series X will not have an exclusive for the first couple of years. Every game that comes out for the Series X can also be played on your Xbox One still. That way that they're not pressuring you to quickly buy an Xbox Series X. You can still keep your Xbox One for a while and still keep up with all the games. Probably not great to announce that right away when you're sitting there trying to beat PS5. But yeah, that's how it is.
I wonder if they make a lot more profit on the games than they do the consoles. Because that's what it sounds like if they're steering away from console production and finding a way to get you the content without having to have the device.
I think you're right. I think the microtransactions has become this new industry thing that they're worried about. Sea of Thieves is making their money off the pets, but they definitely earned it, and things like that. So there's, Minecraft also has microtransactions there. So there is something there. There is something more about the software than hardware. We also had Game Pass, which probably is actually the most important thing Xbox One introduced, is Game Pass, the ability to use Game Pass, because that's changed the industry. That's become standard. We have PlayStation Now, we have stuff like that, and Game Pass really introduced that. Yeah. Daniel, what do you got for us, man? You got something cooking?
Oh yeah, so I remember it was Grand Theft Auto. That was a really good game. Characters, everything.
So there's the problem. There is not exclusive. Jonathan's was not exclusive. No, I'm not saying you had to pick exclusives. I'm saying that I picked one, but really we didn't say Halo. Well, we really didn't say a lot of exclusives, which shows that. Yeah, I was around when that game came out.
that that's always been a problem with the Xbox. It's just they don't have any exclusives, and they're not really trying right now, and that's why I'm going to PlayStation 5 because I'm just disappointed in all the games like Halo. Well, it's good come out for PC, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting more detail on Halo Infinite next week. We'll try to stream it when it's announced, and then we'll do a podcast afterwards. We're gonna get more detail. They said that it's gonna be software only, so don't expect an announcement for a Lockhart. But the fact that they said that it's gonna be software only means that there might be a Lockhart on the way, and if there is, then Xbox might be able to beat PlayStation pretty easily. In our poll we have going on Twitter, which by the time this releases, I think we have like 2 more days to see what system I buy first. PlayStation is beating Xbox hands down. So it looks like I'm a PlayStation 5 man next expansion or next console war, at least for a bit there. So I would say Game Pass is probably the biggest contribution that Xbox has put into the gaming industry. And Sea of Thieves is fantastic too. But again, I think all of us play it on PC. I haven't ever played it on Xbox, so there's that.
Yeah.
See how it goes. All right, Project X Cloud, like we were talking about before, will be free with Game Pass Ultimate this September. So xCloud will allow you to stream everything onto PC, TV, tablets, and phones, much like Google Stadia. Game Pass Ultimate is the combination of regular Game Pass and Xbox Live for $14.99 a month. So now it'll also include xCloud, probably for $14.99 a month. I wouldn't be surprised if that sneaks its way up during Series X. Xbox promises that when xCloud launches, there's going to be more than 100 Game Pass titles that you can play right away on the service. So, again, let's talk about Sea of Thieves on my phone. I mean, that sounds amazing. I don't know how I could do it. That would be really hard to run around when a Kraken attacks.
Yeah.
But that would be really fun to try. Jordan's face kind of shows,
Right? That's one thing I'm worried about is, first off, like I, every once in a while, would play Minecraft from my phone, and the controls just don't work. You can walk around and get yourself dead, but that's about all you can do effectively. And so that's going to be hard, just controlling stuff from your phone, which I'm sure next generation, I'm an old man already, but these young kids are used to playing games on their phones. But then is my game, if I'm playing, say I'm playing Sea of Thieves with one of you guys, when you all are playing on your phone, is it going to, if they do cross-platform, is it going to slow down my game, or is it going to affect how I play because someone else is just using a phone and not a computer? Yeah,
you mean skill-wise, because technology-wise, it won't slow it down at all. But skill-wise, if you have one guy that's like, turn, left, stop, board, like everything's in bits and pieces, it would be really hard.
Yeah.
You make a great point about Minecraft. Usually what happens when I try to play Minecraft on my phone is I die, then I hop on the PC and go get my stuff back real quick. You're real limited there. Daniel, do you think you're going to be playing a lot of stuff on your phone, tablet?
No, not at all. I don't even have any video games on my phone right now. Like, I feel like I could just wait till I get on the PC, or I got my TV, I don't even know what size it is, like 45. Yeah.
You bragging.
I could just wait. I just don't need it. I don't need to play it on my phone. I could just wait. I have the control. And if I was going to like Disneyland, am I a hotel? Then maybe I'll try that.
Yeah.
I'll try it out. Try to see if it works good. But I most of the time I could just wait. I could just wait till I get home.
We spoke about a while back too, is that they're in talks with Nintendo. So I have a feeling that once xCloud comes out, it'll actually play on the Switch as well. Ooh. That's just a long shot that I think is going to end up happening. That would help Microsoft cash flow quite a bit. We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. It's hard to justify buying a Series X right now. I mean, you can just play it anywhere you want. And if there's games, like Sea of Thieves is a bad example, but if there's a game like an MMO that has these time gates where you're checking in and stuff like that, Destiny's a good example. Maybe you want to hop on a Destiny and just kind of like do your dailies and stuff like that real quick on your phone while you're at work on your lunch, so that when you come home, you jump right into Raid and you're good to go. Something like that, Let's see how that goes.
Isn't World of Warcraft going to be coming for Xbox or something like that soon, or no?
Not that I heard of. No? We will be talking about that on the podcast when that's announced. Not yet, though. There is controller support coming, which right now you use add-ons for it, but that's probably what you're thinking of. I have used controller for World of Warcraft. It's awful. I don't know. Would you ever try using a controller for a while?
No. That seems just horrible. Yeah. I feel like you'd need the elite controller with all the extra switches.
At minimum, yeah. You can like tell who's the controller guy because they're in the back there just like flash heal, flash heal, flash heal. That's all they're doing.
I feel like how do you heal? Especially like next expansion is gonna be way more abilities. How are you gonna like have? That's gonna be hard. That'll be interesting though.
Yeah, I remember when I did it. I was using my warrior and it was just for leveling, but it was like heroic strike, whirlwind. I think those were the only two moves I had on my action bar that was able to use. You know, you have limited buttons. All right, Xbox Store posts a Call of Duty Alpha. We got a couple of Xbox stuff here. This is real interesting. So we had talked about before how there's this Xbox leak Call of Duty leak that came out showing that the next Xbox game is going to be Black Ops. It'll be in the middle of the Cold War where we're fighting Russia, kind of stealth missions here and there, which sounds very good. I'm interested in that. Now we have this Call of Duty leak that was through the Microsoft Store, which has been kind of leaking a lot of stuff lately. And what it was this game they put up called The Red Door. It had its own graphics. It had its own description. Interestingly enough, it was a shooter from Activision, which is really weird. And it was 80 gigabytes. So that shows it's not like a third-party game or not a indie game. That's a massive game. So, this had to be an actual AAA title. But why would we not know about it right away? Normally we get trailers and teasers and everything, E3 announcements and all stuff like that. So all of a sudden this randomly shows up. It has a description, which I think is all nonsense, but it says, there is more than one truth. If you go looking for answers, be ready to question everything and accept that nothing will ever be the same. The red door awaits. Do you dare step through it? So I think that's kind of like a throwing us off description for a game because it really doesn't tell us anything. It just says, will you go into this game, but it doesn't actually tell us anything about the game. So there's that, right? Now, some of the suspicious stuff that came out is when one guy looked into the code, and his name is Serial Station. Actually, that's his site, is Serial Station. He looked at the content ID. In there, it's called, the ID for it is called COD, COD 2020 INTAL, so basically short for initial Alpha 1. That's in the code for this game. So it's like, okay, so this might actually be the first alpha for a new Call of Duty game. Some guys on Reddit are saying like, well, in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, the trailer, they use the Rolling Stones Painted Black one. I love that song. And then there is I See a Red Door and I Want to Paint It Black. So there's also that kind of reference. Maybe they're being cute about it and named it Red Door. What do you guys think? Do you think this could be a new way of alpha testing where they put up a false game like this that give people access to it that are like reviewers so that they could give it a test? Is this a good way to do this? Daniel, what do you think?
No, honestly, I feel like they should just come out with it. Just bring it out. Let us just try it. Don't try to be sneaky about it and all this stuff. I'm interested to see if it is a Black Ops, but I'm probably not going to play it because I'm not a big fan of Black Ops. I don't know if you enjoyed Black Ops, but I've always been a Modern Warfare fan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm more of a Modern Warfare fan. I've never liked Black Ops. This one being full-on Cold War, I'm probably more interested. I find that an interesting time period. But yeah, so and you're big on Call of Duty right now. I mean, you're in it. Every time I check Discord, there's Daniel playing Call of Duty. So I'm kind of perplexed on why they would do this though, because first off, Activision Blizzard has their own PC launcher with Battle.net, right? Why not just say like, hey, we have a new Call of Duty coming out. It's a Black Ops. It's going into alpha. Yeah. Why try to be vague about this? Why try to hide it?
I mean, it probably for the hype, so people could just get excited about it, and then
but people get excited if you give them little teasers about it.
Oh, I mean, they are teasing in a way. I mean, there with the red door thing. And
it's funny because it's like hyping up the people who research the stuff and not hyping up the mainstream audience. It's real weird that they're hyping up just like the people who look into coding and stuff. Yeah. It's odd one. Jolin, what do you think about this as a business practice?
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, like, there's some situations where if you just leak a little bit of information, people are more excited to have a leak than they are to have the full thing. Yeah. But I don't think this, a game like this is really, I mean, people want it. People want another Call of Duty, I'm sure. I mean, Call of Duty's doing great right now. Yeah, they want to see that production's, underway and get a little taste of what they can expect. And as the, developers, they should, put it out in alpha, let people test it a little bit and take their feedback and, adjust the game to match. Yeah. But yeah, to just kind of let it leak out like that doesn't seem like it's going to help anybody. So yeah, I think I think they need to just take a step back and put it in alpha testing. Let people just like they do their other game.
Just announce the game. Have a quick mock-up of a title screen or something like that. Throw that out there saying it's on the way. And let us build the hype naturally, like we have forever. And you can put it on the Battle.net launcher, like you have everything else that's Call of Duty right now. Just throw it up out there. Why bother?
Maybe they're just really far back on trying to figure out what they need it to be. So they don't have a name. Don't really all they have is maybe the time period and setting. But they are trying to figure out the core of what their new game's going to be.
That's a good point, but in the code it says 2020. We don't have time for that.
That's true.
It's coming out now. This actually, while we're talking, I think it might be something to do with the pandemic. Maybe this is a way for them to be able to work from home easier and setting things up, making adjustments when it's a live game like that. Maybe
their new Call of Duty is all about riot control and keeping people at home and pandemic life. It's all about 2020, not releasing in 2020.
You can make your own character, and then it's just me hanging out at the computer like, oh, I don't need to go outside. This game is so real.
Sims Pandemic.
Yeah, Sims Pandemic, oh my God.
That'd be terrible.
You build a door and you don't open it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next thing here, we have Metacritic. They're stepping in, and they're going to start delaying all game reviews. So Metacritic has implemented a 36-hour waiting period on all game reviews, so users have time to actually play the game before voicing their opinion. The reason they're doing this is because of review bombing, and I hate review bombing so much. It's just such a silly practice. But say there's a game coming. Okay, let's go like this. Say there's a new PUBG expansion coming up. If you're a PUBG fan or somebody who used to play PUBG, you may bomb the future expansion because you're like, look, there's problems with the game right now. Why aren't you guys fixing it? So I might have a problem with a company or with a previous game. So when they're announcing a new game, I'll get on there right away and start saying 1 star. You guys need to work on your old games before you make this one, and then send it out. The problem with that is if there's a new person going and looking for a good shooter that's, something like Fortnite but not so silly, they're going to check out the reviews and see like, oh, this thing's only got like 1 star. Why would I even bother trying? And I have not even played 1 minute of the actual game that I just reviewed. It's not fair for the company. While I may have grievances with the company, there are better ways of airing my grievances. I can take to Twitter, social media, forums. They all have forums. What do you guys think about Metacritic putting in this delay for the 36-hour waiting period? Do you think that's a good idea? Is it long enough? What should we do?
It is a good idea, but I feel like people are just gonna not even play it and just go off of other people and just still bomb the game, because that's what happened to Last of Us, right? That's pretty much why they're doing it, because it got bombed. It got bad reviews because it got leaked. The whole entire story got leaked.
Yeah.
And then everybody just started bombing it as soon as the game came out. So it is a good idea, but people are still going to be hateful and still want to bomb like certain games. That's how everybody,
Yeah. I think it might be effective in like cutting off the top, percentage or whatever of, hateful people that are out there just like super livid about whatever and just want to get it off their chest. So they go and post all these reviews. Well, if you got to wait a few days, you usually care a whole lot less. And if you're going to post something after a few days of playing a game, then chances are you're going to at least have more common sense behind it, more reasoning behind it, and probably more likely be positive reviews than, hateful, oh, I just glitched out and now I'm super pissed off and, forget everybody, this game sucks. And, a little bit more time to think about it.
It's like the sleep on a policy. You just wait a little bit, cool down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good point. I like this. I personally hate review bombing. I think it's very anti-productive. You got people out there that are just doing their job. And when you review bomb a product, and if it drives down the money that company takes in, it's not like the company's like, oh no, we took a loss, let's change our ways. Yeah. No, that trickles down to future employment for the people who worked on the game. Like all of a sudden they become team B and they're working on really minor projects, if that. So, just kind of be a little bit more wary. It's a tough one. Yeah, it's just.
And if you like a game, why are you review bombing it? And if you like the game, go play it. If you don't like the game, go play a different one. You don't have to sit there and hate on those people for making a game that you don't like. Like, there's other games out there. Go play one you like, post a whole bunch of videos about how great this other competitor is, and that's fine. But to just directly attack a company that made a game because of a certain defect or detail in the game that you don't like, then hey, that's the nature of the beast. You don't like a burger at In-N-Out, don't go eat there. Go to McDonald's or whatever. You know,
Right.
It's consumerism.
Exactly. Some other sites are doing things like Amazon has the verified publisher or purchaser, so that you know when you see a review for something, it's either a person who is just writing a review because they're familiar with the product outside of Amazon, or they're just being, review bombing it, or you can actually check the verified purchasers. Like, these people actually spent money on it. They'll say, I like to always look at the ones that actually post pictures of it too, because then you get like an extra layer of verified viewer. So I think we also have to be kind of smarter about reading reviews. And if it's a review from Geek Freaks, it's 100%. So that's always good. Or it's Dana ruining the end of Last of Us. So
we always know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're 100% accurate. Next up. Now, did you guys see the new Lego NES system?
No.
Start Googling, John.
Uh-oh.
Daniel, I know you saw it, right?
No.
I thought you're all over our social media. I posted on the social media like 3 times.
I was on it a couple days ago, like 4 days ago, but I didn't see that.
Yeah. So while you guys are Googling, the Lego and Nintendo are teaming up to make a Lego NES. This will contain 2,646 pieces. The set will include a mechanically working NES. It has a cartridge you can put in and push down. Has controllers you can plug into the front. Mechanically, it works.
Dope.
But you assemble it? You assemble the NES from Legos?
Yeah. And
What
the TV that you see there with it.
Yeah, that little TV. But so what, does the little TV move? Is like interactive or is it just display?
You turn a crank on the side of the TV. It comes with a little box TV like in the old days, You turn a crank on the side of the TV, and it's the first level from the 1985 Super Mario Brothers, and him jumping up and down over the blocks and stuff like that. Isn't that neat as hell?
Crazy.
I really
Is this
love
going to be
it.
like $1,000 or what?
Man, you're doing great with segues. So the cost for this will be no, you're doing perfect. This is the cost will be $229 for this set. So it's not cheap, but it comes with the TV and the Nintendo. I did a little bit of research, doing the hard work here. The NES, when it released in the US in '87, was $99 with the Super Mario Brothers edition. When you adjust for inflation, it's $240. So the Legos cost as much as the NES basically when it came out. But you get a free TV.
Which was the newest, most high-tech game system at the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sounds like being a PS5 right now.
Yeah. This comes out on your birthday, John, August 1st.
Oh, sweet.
So I think you need to tell Susan. Hey.
Yes, I need it. I need one to go on this ugly shelf full of junk right here, so it could be a display item that I could also play.
At what price point would you guys go out and buy one of these? I would say $100 for sure.
$100.
100 to 150. I'd probably
150. I could probably buy it.
get one.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, especially if you're a person that likes Legos, assembling this would be half the fun too. Having it on display is cool, playing with it's cool, but putting it together would be fun too.
I almost want to buy the TV separate. The TV to me seems so cool. And in the little trailer they had, the kid's like in the cartridge before he puts it in, which of course doesn't, it's just Legos, but I just like, they get it. Nintendo gets it. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think if the price goes down at all, which I'm pretty sure it'll just sell out right away. If the price goes down at all, I'm in 100%. I'm going to have to buy this because it's just too awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up and almost last up, we have the Bad Batch series coming to Disney Plus in 2021. The Bad Batch was introduced in the final season of Star Wars Clone Wars and is now getting their own series next year. This series will bring back the much of the creative team behind Clone Wars and Rebels, including the great Dave Filoni, who I think should be in charge of all of Star Wars, Athena Portillo, Brad Rowe, and Jennifer Corbett. The series is in early development, and it's going to be a bit slow because most of Hollywood's still shut down. The Bad Batch is such a good idea. So it's basically, I don't know if you guys caught them from the Clone Wars final season, but it's a batch of clones that were all kind of messed up. They're not perfect clones, right? They're not 100% accurate, but their inaccuracies make them advanced. So one's like super strong because he accidentally got too much strength. One guy's really good at sniping because his eyes got messed up. So they're all kind of like a little bit perfect. One's a real super geek. And they roam around, and their leader's really cool too. He's kind of this rugged dude that's kind of just bending the rules a little bit. And we're going to be following their adventures as they hop around from place to place, much like if you were to follow Rex from the Clone Wars. but they're going to be bouncing around from place to place, helping out the Clone Wars cause and kind of protecting themselves and creating this family unit. A quote from Agnes Chu, Disney Senior VP. While the Clone Wars may have come to its conclusion, our partnership with the groundbreaking storytellers and artists at Lucasfilm Animation is only beginning. We are thrilled to bring Dave Filoni's vision to life through the adventures of the Bad Batch. So I think this is going to be just a straight up continuation of Clone Wars. I think we're all happy about that. That's pretty good. What do you guys think about this, rugged, kind of out on their own group of stormtroopers or clone troopers? And what kind of stories would you want them to encounter?
I think that's smart. I think that's what we see in a lot of stuff that's like following the like traditional group of superheroes kind of thing, where everybody has unique abilities and they have to find their own way and work together as a team and all that kind of stuff. So it's like it's playing to what I think kids these days are used to hearing and want to hear, because they like Star Wars, they like Clone Wars. It's successful franchise, but just putting it in the same kind of pattern that we've seen before. So I think it'll do good. Yeah. But I can think of like a specific story arc for them to follow or anything like that.
Yeah, I hope they meet the pirates. I always love pirates.
Watching Clone Wars as it is.
Oh, you should. Sorry. So good. Yeah. But I like for them to meet the pirates. I've always liked the pirates of Star Wars, and they're very underrepresented. And then also with like the bounty clans, like there's all these clans that work together that do bounties. I don't know if clan is the right term, but anyways, go hang out with them. They're awesome. There's all kinds of them out there. I love the ones where like Boba Fett's a young kid that's still leading a group and being a little badass. There's all kinds of cool stuff that they can do. Daniel, do you have any ideas for this? Any ideas for the show where they can go?
No, not really. But honestly, the show sounds awesome, and I'll actually start watching it.
Yeah,
it does sound really good.
Now, you haven't seen Clone Wars at all, right?
No, I haven't, but I might actually start with the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Because it actually looks fun.
If anybody wants to watch Clone Wars, I can't suggest it enough, but I do want to give you this warning. The first season was geared for children. And then the second season, and especially like third, it moves, pretty well. It starts to mature their audience quite a bit, much like Avatar in that sense. So get through the first season and really start to enjoy the second season on, if you guys get into that show. Can't suggest it enough. Very good show. All right. We had an analysis. I thought this was interesting. Talking to the Hollywood Reporter, Doug Kreutz. He recently stated in his adjustments for the Disney stock, because the Disney stocks have plummeted. They're having a hell of a time. Disneyland being closed, Disney World being closed soon probably. It's really hurting their stocks. In that, he was talking about how he thinks theaters won't fully open until mid-2021. Okay? The primary reason for this is because the theater system's real shaky. Most theaters are not open, right? And the ones that are open have these very terrible attendances. People are not really wanting to show up. And so the big movie studios don't necessarily want to release a blockbuster into that system. They'd rather just hold on until next year, the year after, when things are a little bit stable and people are going back to the theaters. So 2021, what should the studios do in the meantime? Should we see some releases at home? Should we start getting some theater releases? Jonathan, let's start with you on this. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think that at-home releases are great. It's hard because of course, they're losing money. They have to find a way to make up if we want to see them produce more movies in the future. So if they needed to do like, hey, you have Disney Plus and you want to see the new Mulan, which I can't wait for.
It's already done. Yeah.
We can't just like dump it in there. Here's, it's going to be $3, $2.99 to watch this exclusive premium movie, for the first month or something like that. After that, it'll be free for everybody. That's totally fine. That's cool. I'll pay the extra $3 or $5 or $7, whatever it is, to watch the new release movie. It's cheaper than going to the theaters anyways, and we don't have the option to go into the theaters, so we want to get that content. Also, since this is going to be a whole, probably a year or so of waiting for theaters to open, I think, and I don't think theaters are going to survive. Honestly, I think come next year, theaters are going to be closing down, in bulk, and they're just not going to exist anymore. The perfect solution is taking a step back, like 50 years or whatever, and having drive-in theaters everywhere. Let's start converting places into drive-in movie theaters. It'd be so successful. The right here in Lodi, the Great Festival Fairgrounds, we're hosting drive-in movies. Just put up a projector, tune in their system to. I mean, I'm sure it takes a little bit of investment, but tune in your system to to broadband that frequency or whatever, and people can drive in and keep distance and stay in their own car. And if they bring snacks, then cool, and they just have to pay to get in the gate.
Back when Orson Welles was trying to get out Rosebud, not Rosebud, is that the name of it? No, that's not right. What's the name of what the Rosebud is from? Anyways.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
So Hearst wouldn't let it get in theaters. Like, he was that powerful. So he just, threw up drive-in theaters left and right. Like, he was just here's, and theaters, in fields and stuff like that to show it. And Citizen Kane, there it is.
Citizen Kane.
And it created more hype. People were like, oh my God, I have to see it because this is the only way to see it. So you could actually kind of create this buzz for it if you're like, you have to go to drive-in theaters to see the new Black Widow. I'll be there, my bug. I'm there, man. Me and Squeaks were actually just talking, I think last night or the night before, about we should probably all go out to the Sacramento drive-in theaters sometime and just kind of watch a movie together like back in the old days, but from our cars, being safe. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to do. Daniel, what do you think about this? What I want to know from you, Daniel, what's the price point for you to, how high can they go for you to still watch a movie from home?
Honestly, they could charge about the same amount that theaters usually, charge. And I was thinking, the drive-in theater is a good idea. They should actually have a couple more open, especially right now with this pandemic. I was thinking, well, why don't they just have the website that they're buying the movie or whatever, and people just log in, pay the $15, watch it at home, that. It works. A lot of people are at home, so no matter what, they're gonna watch the movie. It's not gonna do that good because a lot of people love watching movies on theater, but give them the option. Let them watch it at home. Just charge them the $15. I'd pay. Yeah. I'd definitely pay to see all these movies.
So one thing you're suggesting there, Daniel, and Jolin, you alluded to it as well. Paying the price of a movie ticket. The problem is you're paying the price for one movie ticket with $15, and yet you could have your family of 5 watching it. They're losing money in that. So I was thinking I'd be willing to pay up to $40 for a Black Widow or something like that. Would you guys be willing to pay up to $40, which is 2 movie tickets? You're going out as a couple.
Would you get to keep the digital copy afterwards?
Good question. I would say you probably wouldn't, but yeah. I could if Disney Plus added a section that was just pay-per-view section of Disney Plus, and you had to pay $40 for it, and then you had it for maybe a week. I don't know.
Yeah, but then they're gonna have issues too because people are gonna try to copy it and then try. Stream it. That's the only issue, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I think at that price, though, I would rather just buy the full Blu-ray or, you might as well pay for it and own it for an extra $15 or something like that.
Well, you know what? Honestly, actually, that's not a terrible idea. If you actually owned it after that, then the nice thing is you'd get the secondary sales. Because there's a ton of people, probably majority of the people, they'll go out into the theaters, watch an Avengers, and then they're done. They'll watch Avengers again if it's on Netflix or something like that, but they don't want to necessarily go out and buy the Blu-ray. This is almost like securing that Blu-ray sale, too.
Yeah. You'd kind of split you would get the ticket sale and the Blu-ray sale at the same time, but it would only make about half the money. But like you're saying, the ticket sales, a lot of people just buy a ticket, or some people just buy a Blu-ray. Hardly anybody buys both, or, Blu-rays sell a lot less than movie tickets, I'm sure.
It is, and it's kind of a nice way to entice that a little bit more. The reason I like the $40 is because you're buying a ticket for 2 people. For a lot of people, that's about right. You buy but for those who go with friends who are a single person, they're by their own ticket. You're getting a little bit extra from them, and then the families that are watching it, you're getting a little less from them. So it kind of finds this little bit of a medium ground. And then if it's a title I was saying Black Widow, it has enough hype and has enough build to where I think it might be able to pull that price point off, and make most people happy. It's a tough one.
You know what I'm thinking? This is going to take a whole lot more investment from Disney or somebody. But say a new movie's coming out like Mulan, and you want to have a movie night with your kids. If you were to go on the Disney website and put in all your information to where you want to get a movie night package for your family, and it comes with the movie, and toy Mulan swords or whatever, costumes for your kids. You put in your sizes and stuff like that. Just a full family entertainment night package. Popcorn or. I know you can't probably package food for something like that, but whatever, certain things to go with the theme of the movie and things, use in the house as decorations, put down like a Mulan themed blanket that
That's
the kids
awesome.
play on.
Yeah.
That kind of looks like, something to just really get the whole family, because you can't go to the theaters.
Right.
But at least you could do is
make it
try to
better
do
than
something
theaters.
something to kind of bring that environment to them. That'd be really cool. Something that you just do.
That is a really good idea. Something like that you could see spending $100, if not more, dollars if you're sitting there with the
Especially
full
with your
setup.
kids.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they'll be entertained. They'll be doing backflips and stuff for hours after the movie's done. Then, of course, they're going to want to watch the movie again.
Yeah.
But I think at least for families, I think that would be really worth the investment.
Yeah, and if they were to do a rental thing, like say you have it for just 7 days or 3 days or whatever, if you have kids and it's something like Mulan or whatever, you're going to probably rent that again just to shut your kid up. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be like 2 weeks down the road, like, I want to watch Mulan again or whatever. All right, fine, $40, sit down or whatever.
If it comes in a package like that, I'm sure the parents would be okay spending, like I was saying earlier, a little bit more to own it.
Yes.
So if it's $100 for a package where you just get to watch the movie once, or $130 or whatever to own it, the kids, like Frozen, the kids are going to want to pop it in back to back to back. You might as well just own it and let them watch it endlessly.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I like the idea of drive-in theaters. I'm down to do that because there also has to be a thing like Daniel was bringing up where people can't pirate it. And drive-in theaters is pretty hard to pirate. It would be very terrible quality if you try to pirate off of a drive-in theater. So there may be something there. We'll have to see. I'm kind of in the mood to actually go because that's the one thing as a hermit that loves playing video games. That's the one thing I miss about going outside to see people is theaters themselves. I love to like middle of the afternoon if you have the chance you go out to the theater and it's just like you and like 2 other people watching some random Tom Hanks movie. It's fantastic. So I do miss that.
And we do have fast food drive-thrus are open, so you'd think like if we're especially building new drive-in theaters, that the concession stand could just be a drive-thru, so people can still go there and buy snacks and support the local, drive-in business as well.
Yeah,
you just got to build it as not a lobby or nothing like that, just a drive-thru.
And I'm wondering how hard it would be to make a projection screen, because I got that field next to the house.
Yeah,
I wonder how hard that would be. I know I could I could set up an FM station.
Is it just plywood? Is it canvas?
If you do plywood and you throw white canvas on there, if we just got to get the projector, I think we can get a projector.
You need to be waterproof though for the weather resistant.
Well, we can put it away later on. We'll put it up and down. All right, guys, coming soon to a town near you, Geek Freaks Theater System.
Ooh,
might be a thing happening.
I like it. I think we really need to make this happen though.
I think I could actually make this. Well, I'll think about it. I'm gonna start working. I'm almost done with the yard.
Look into projectors.
I feel like you just need the canvas, the roll, and then the screen, and then you just get like some wood, post it down, and right there, boom.
You are close to the freeway, so you gotta make sure the freeway can't see it because that'll be a distraction and cause violence.
It happens all the time at the Sacramento one. As you're leaving or going, you're always like, "What's going on over there? Ooh, Harry Potter!" You're always doing that. Okay, last story we're gonna be talking about, a little bit of a heartwarmer for us to leave the day on. There's this little 6-year-old. His name's Bridger Walker. Cool name. The guy should be a country singer. He's 6 years old. He saw his 4-year-old sister being attacked by a dog, and he jumped into action and was able to get in between the two. So Bridger was successful in saving his sister's life, but was left with many bites and bruises. You can see it was like it tore his cheek off through here. They have stitches holding it up, but it was like torn off and stuff like that. Poor kid. He had to undergo 2 hours of surgery and received 90 stitches. Pretty crazy. So Bridger's dad asked him, "Why did you jump in between the dog and your sister?" And he says, "If someone had to die, I thought it should be me." This kid's 6 years old. Brave little kid. Some of the biggest movie stars saw this story and have gone and reached out to talk with Bridger. I messed that last part up. Thank you. People like Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Holland, Hugh Jackman, Zachary Levi. I think like yesterday, Thor did. Chris Hemsworth, there it is. They've been going out, they've been sending messages, writing cards and stuff like that. There's really cool, it's on our website, you guys can check it out, video from Chris Evans where he's sending him like, "Hey man, you're a true Avenger," you're, stuff like that. He's sending him an authentic Captain America shield. Just really cool things. He was dressed up as Captain America when he was getting the call from Chris.
Vibranium's so rare too.
Yeah, I know. How did he get, he's got to deal with Wakanda. I just really liked the story. I thought it was a good way to end the show. What a little hero, Bridger Walker. If by chance you happen to hear this podcast, you are amazing, official Geek Freak. I just really like this. This is really cool. And I love how, he's a hero, and then we got all the big name heroes coming out, and Shazam's out there saying, good job and stuff like that. It was pretty awesome. I liked that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for us today, guys. Just a quick reminder, the website's revamped, so you guys can check out that cool website. Discord link below if you guys want to join Discord. We're streaming often. If we're not streaming, we're still in there just talking. If you don't see us, just hit us up, whatever. Audible. You guys don't understand how much it helps us if you guys just sign up for a trial for Audible and check out some good books. Shadows Rising by Madeline Rowe. I'm pretty sure it's still Madeline. I'm not positive. Really good so far. Join us on that. We're going to be discussing that on the 15th of next month. But yeah, help us out on Audible. You can click the link below or go to audibletrial.com/geekfreaks. Let's get some good mics for everybody. All right. Talk to you guys later. You all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Geek Freaks podcast. You can find us on Twitter at GeekFreaksPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram. You can email us. We have our Patreon and a store. All those links are in the description. Thank you so much